Hey, what's up? Eoxys here. This tutorial will teach you how to make Minecraft videos that look awesome. It doesn't matter if you've never made a video before, I'll show you some of the basic techniques to get the best quality possible on YouTube. First of all, you'll need some video recording software. I use Fraps to record because it's easy to use and lightweight. You can buy Fraps online at fraps.com for $37. However, the free trial is not worth getting because it can only record for 30 seconds at a time. If you don't want to buy Fraps right now, I would recommend using Bandicam. It is similar to Fraps, but the trial version does not have a 30-second limit. If you purchase software, I'd recommend Fraps over Bandicam because Fraps does not compress video while recording and seems to have less of a performance hit on the game. After you've installed Fraps, start it up and it will automatically show FPS benchmarks in your games. I'll walk you through some of the important settings that will affect your Minecraft recordings. I advise disabling the Run Fraps when Windows starts so that your computer starts up faster. In the second tab, you should disable the benchmarking hotkey and make sure that you have an overlay being shown. That won't show up in your videos, it'll only show up on your game. In the Movies tab, make sure that you have the folder that you want where your movies will be stored. Make sure that your video capture hotkey will not interfere with anything else. For example, don't set it to F9, don't set it to F11. I use F10 because that generally doesn't interfere with anything else. The Smart Moving mod uses the F9 key, so that's why I changed it. On your video capture settings, which is the most important part, make sure that your video capture is set to full size. Frames per second is set to 30, and that your frame rate is locked. It doesn't really matter whether you have a locked frame rate or not. Make sure that you're recording sound, and if you want you can enable the microphone, but usually I just have that off because I record my microphone with Audacity. In the screenshots tab, just disable the hotkey because we don't really need that. Now I'll talk about the settings in game that are optimal for video recording. First, you should download and install a mod called Optifine. This mod allows you to set a custom full screen resolution. This isn't required for video recording, but I find it really useful to be able to set my resolution to 1280 by 720 in full screen. YouTube uses a 16:9 aspect ratio. The most common resolutions are 1920 by 1080p and 1280 by 720p. It is also okay to record in 1366 by 768, but I wouldn't recommend that unless that's your native resolution. Alright, so now that you have Optifine installed, start up your single player game and press escape to go to options and click on video settings, and now you have a bunch of settings that Optifine enables. Go down to other in the bottom right and then change the full screen to 1280 by 720. 1280 by 720 is the best resolution to use for recording YouTube videos. Unless you want to make an unusually high quality one, then use 1920 by 1080, but that'll take a lot longer to upload and you also might get not so good frame rates. So in your video settings, there are a couple things you can do to improve your FPS. Mine is really low right now because I have these shader mods installed and I have 2 video recording programs running, but yours should be higher than this. It should be around at least 30. So you can decrease your render distance. The lower your render distance is, the higher your FPS will be. You can also change your graphics to fast, although if you change your graphics to fast, I recommend going into the details right here and changing your trees to fancy, because fast trees do not look very good. That's all you need. And now your full screen mode will automatically go to 1280 by 720p. So to record, just go back in game and then press the F10 key or whatever your hotkey is, and then Fraps will start recording and your FPS will turn red like it is right now in the upper right corner. To stop recording, press the same hotkey and then your file will be saved in whatever folder you selected. Fraps will record your video in an uncompressed format, so the files will be pretty big. It'll fill up your hard drive pretty fast, So before you upload them to YouTube, you need to make sure that you process them with video editing software that'll compress them. I use Sony Vegas to edit most of my videos, but if you don't have Sony Vegas, then Windows Movie Maker is a great choice for regular movies that don't require a lot of complex editing. If you don't already have Windows Movie Maker, then you can download it for free from Microsoft's website. So let's open up Movie Maker right now, and I'll show you how to render your video and compress it. So when you first open up Movie Maker, make sure that you click on the Project tab and you click on widescreen 16:9 because that's the aspect ratio that we want. And then click Add Videos and Photos. And then scroll to the folder where all your videos are, all your video recordings from Fraps or from Bandicam, and then select all the files that you need. Edit and make sure that your video is done. And after you're done with all that editing, then go to File, Save Movie, and then click Recommended for your project. And then save it. It'll take a while to render your movie because your CPU is going through all of the frames and compressing and getting it ready to be published. But after it's done, then you'll be able to view your video, and it'll be a lot smaller than it used to be, and it'll be ready to upload to YouTube. You can see now that it's 6 megabytes and it used to be about 300 megabytes. If you have Sony Vegas, you should install the XVID codec. It's a free codec available from xvid.org. After you install the codec, restart Sony Vegas so that it can automatically detect your codec. When you're using Sony Vegas, make sure that you go to File and Properties to access the project properties, and click on this little folder right here and select some of the footage that you've recorded. Then press Open, and it'll automatically match the resolution and the frame rate to your recordings. You should select Best here from the full resolution rendering quality, and uncheck Adjust Source Media to better match project or render settings. You can click Start All New Projects with these settings if you want, and then press OK. Now, after you're done editing, go to File and then Render, and make sure that you click Custom down here. And for the frame size, use your project settings. For the frame rate, use the same one that you have in your recordings. And for the video format, select XVID codec. If XVID doesn't show up here, it means that it's not installed on your system yet. You might have to restart Sony Vegas, or you might have to reinstall it and restart your computer. So click Configure here. Make sure that your quality slider is on 1, which is maximum quality. Then click OK, and click OK. And now make sure that you have .av video for Windows selected, and then click Save, and it'll render your video. Now your video is ready to upload to YouTube. Well, that's about it, folks. I can't wait to see the awesome videos that you guys create with these tips. Make sure to like and subscribe if this helped you, and watch the rest of my videos too. Post a comment below and let me know what you want to see next.